Ryan Day wants to peak on the last Saturday of November and then ride it out for the rest of the year.
I haven't heard anybody use this comp yet, and I'm going to use it. And I hope it properly illustrates why I'm so appreciative of what I'm watching. What we're watching from Ohio State this year is the college football version of Floyd Mayweather. I'm Chris, that's Tyler. Today's the big college football rundown, I guess. Honestly, outside of the show we do Sunday, this is my favorite show. This is my co-host who sometimes I ask how he's doing, but I already know how he's doing. He's doing well. Tyler, what's up, dude?
I'm excited. I'm going to the game, Ohio State game, driving up to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
My wife went to Marquette. So we have a lot of friends up in Wisconsin, Milwaukee area, Madison. So we're going to go up there. We're going to go stomp around her stomping grounds in college, eat some good food, eat good cheese, especially good beer, and then go watch Ohio State just beat their ass and jump around.
Yeah.
I think where does jump around rank in the, traditions of college football?
I think like on game day traditions.
Yeah. Like, I guess you could more like a stadium tradition.
Stadium, probably one, because it bangs even when they're ass.
Yeah, but I think Enter Sandman at Virginia Tech's better.
Okay, that's fair. Maybe I'm so like Big Ten blooded through and through. Like
the Enter Sandman at Virginia Tech creates a level of hype that
yeah. No. I think like for me, like I was also introduced to jump around first. Probably. Like my uncle was like such a huge like Big Ten guy. And like every year, like the Wisconsin games like ended up meaning more to me. Because fuck about like I'll never the first time I cried about an Ohio State loss was an Ohio State loss to Wisconsin. Because I grew up in an era where we never lost to Michigan. So my first like emotional time was Wisconsin.
Remember Braxton's freshman year?
I do remember that.
And that was on third. Was it third down? Fourth down?
Yeah, third down, 30 seconds left to I believe Devin Smith in the end zone.
Yeah,
and just a rocket while rolling right. That was one of the first times I cried happy tears because they won.
That was in my buddy's dorm room. We were watching the game. It was just the two of us. We went fucking nuts.
It's not that we forgetting how old you are, Tyler.
I'm only 33 years old, man.
Before I even had my license.
Unbelievable.
But anyway, it's funny because like Iowa went belt to ass on Wisconsin. Wisconsin looks like a shell of themselves. I think that Luke Fickell made some pretty big miscalculations. I still think he's a good coach and will get a shot at some point down the road. But things have been really, really bad. And them keeping it close against Michigan should have been a sign that maybe Michigan is a little bit more of a glass cannon than people realize. This game should, though, be pretty drama-free, I guess. I saw the spread is what, minus 25.5?
25.5. I think they cover. I think the question is the over-under. If you're a betting person, the over-under is 40.5.
I think they go over because I think the Wisconsin offense is so bad that like Matt Patricia, like they might not. Here we go. If you gave Wisconsin 7 points for every time they crossed the 50, I would still pick Ohio State to cover.
Wow.
They got shut out by Iowa.
Well, Iowa plays good defense.
Okay. Iowa scored 37 on them.
Okay. That's a problem.
So I'm saying like the over-under, I think they're going to go over 40 on accident. But like if you're Vegas, what do you do? Because like sometimes the Ohio State offense is very basic.
Slow.
Yeah.
They operate slow. They're the slowest team in college football. They run the least amount of plays in all of college football.
Some fans don't like the way the offense goes and really can't. And I don't know where you're at. I think I know where you're at, but I guess I'm willing to unpack it. Does the pacing and the offensive output of the Ohio State offense, does it bug you? Or are you at the point where you understand what you're watching and how great it is?
Totally understand. Okay. We talked about it a few weeks ago. They're essentially from 2019 when they ran 78 plays a game to now where they're running 60 plays a game. Now, there's some things that are like out of their control, like the clock change.
Yeah, the clock rule. But even following the trend of the
clock it's gone
rule,
down every year. Each year, they've ran less plays every year. And essentially what they're doing is they're playing they're anticipating playing a 16-game season. Well, they want to feel like they're playing 15 games.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically cutting a game off of their schedule.
They're cutting a quarter off every game.
Yeah, I think
it's a little less than a quarter, but
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
and like, there's a reason why last year the playoff we looked faster, we looked more explosive, we were healthier. There's a reason, because Ryan Day is built for this playoff structure, because he's figured out how to get better and still win games and then make sure they peak at the right time. That's the whole goal. Ryan Day wants to peak on the last Saturday of November and then ride it out through the rest of the year.
I haven't heard anybody use this comp yet, and I'm going to use it. And I hope it properly illustrates why I'm so appreciative of what I'm watching. What we're watching from Ohio State this year is the college football version of Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, early in his career, was what? Pretty boy Floyd. I'm going to punish you. I'm going to beat you up. You're going to leave the boxing match feeling like you just got beat up, and I'm going to knock you out.
Yep.
Then as his career went on, he started being able to dominate opponents without knocking you out. And it was such like a unique thing and a unique feel, especially for a boxing fan. And it's almost, I think, Tyler, more demoralizing that I'm going to dominate you without it being a firefight. People accuse Floyd of being boring after he got rid of the pretty boy Floyd and went to Money Mayweather. But what he was doing was dragging every single fighter into deep waters and dominating you without knocking you out. Dominating you without having to go crazy on offense, because guess what? My defense is so electric, and I'm going to pop shot you here and there, and we're going to go through 12 rounds of boxing, and you're going to hit me maybe one time, and I'm going to hit you 60 or 70 times. That is what we are watching right now with this Ryan Day team. And I think that's the best way. You have to learn to appreciate what you're watching, and it is essentially the Floyd Mayweather of college football. We're not going to lose. We're not going to knock you out, but you're also not going to feel like you were close the entire time. You are going to be chasing a ghost out there the entire time. And I'm appreciative of that. I know some people, me and you talked real briefly, like for a moment in time, we thought, okay, like, would it be nice to have a style points win against Illinois? It would be nice.
But yeah, I was kind of like feeling it when like Illinois started throwing up on themselves and we were kind of just taking it to them. It was 20-0. And I was like, oh yeah. This would be a nice statement to make to the rest of college football. Like, no, we can do this too.
And then Illinois went tempo, and like Ohio State fans on the timeline, like, oh my God, like we don't have an answer for tempo. And it's like, no, we do. Like we are just fine. And I guess like when I watch this team, it makes me appreciate Matt Patricia so much more.
Yeah. So I want to throw this up to you. I want you to tell Ohio State fans why they shouldn't be concerned about the offense for the Michigan game.
Because it's in there. Here's the thing. We can say a lot about Ryan Day. The one thing that Ryan Day, it feels like, happens year over year is he learns from his mistakes. And this year in particular, two things. Wink Martindale has shown everybody that he wants to play man-to-man across the board, and he wants to trust guys. He wants to trust DBs. Guess what? We saw it last week. Their DBs aren't good enough. Second of all, if Wink wants to trust DBs, there's no longer Mason Graham in the middle to ruin a game plan.
Correct.
USC was not only able to throw the ball, they were able to run the ball. And they were able to run the ball with a walk-on running back and another running back who was hurt to start the game, went into the tunnel when two guys got hurt and came out, had 37 yards and a touchdown. This Ohio State team, I think, can beat Michigan in a handful of ways. And then additionally, this coaching staff last year got held so accountable by the players that going into this Michigan game, the game plan is going to consist a super healthy dose of number 4. The second part, Jeremiah Smith this year is getting the auto touches. So what I mean by that, Tyler, is the touches that are an extension of the run game. Those weren't there last year. So at times, it would be like a progression thing. And it's like, okay, if Jeremiah Smith's open, we'll give him the ball. No. After last year's Michigan game, they made a conceded effort to give him the auto touches. This play, when we snap the football, the only intention is getting Jeremiah Smith the ball within 5 to 10 yards, period. And what we're going to do is we're going to force your DBs to tackle because we don't think they will. So I'm a big believer that like this offense has maybe 2 explosions in them in the regular season. And I think that's when Ryan Day will be like, all right, look, we're going to go out there. We're going to go do it because we know it's in there. And it's going to be Penn State to get back to Jim Knowles. And it's going to be Michigan because Ryan Day got held accountable last year and has shown me that he is more than willing to learn from his mistakes.
He's always learned from his mistakes.
Always. And he doesn't get enough credit for that.
He has made, there's been plenty of mistakes in the last 7 years, 100%.
Absolutely.
But he's learning from them, and he's made the adjustments, and he doesn't make the same mistake twice. So, everybody needs to just wait.
I can acknowledge there, but we can both acknowledge this, right? There's a section of the fan base that it's never enough for.
And part of it, and there's part of me that says they need to relax, and there's part of me also is like, well, this is why Ohio State's a coach-proof program. Because the standard is always, they have to chase an impossible standard.
Bingo.
An unreachable standard. And that's due to the lunatic fringe.
Well, and that unreasonable standard has forced Ohio State to get better year over year over year to where winning 10 games a year is their birthright. Shout out Reese Davis.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not stressing. There hasn't been a game, even the Texas game, when Ohio State went up 14-7, was that like pretty early in the third quarter?
Yeah, early third, I believe. First half.
No, it was 14-0. It was 14-0 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
When it became 14-0, from that moment on, there hasn't been a moment in a football game where I was like, they might lose. Like, not even remotely close. No matter what's happening. So, since August 30th, at about 2:45, we've been in control of every single football game that they've played.
Bingo.
What are we worried about?
And I guess there's 2 parts, right? Like, you could be kind of concerned about the run game. Obviously, we got on the show, and I talk about my issues and concerns with the run game. But at the end of the day, I can kind of have these worries and also, like, stand up, look around, acknowledge it's just us. Yeah. And the cool thing about where Ohio State is right now and why I'm really excited about the future of Ryan Day is I like that Ryan Day is chasing mythicals. Ryan Day right now is chasing Nick Saban. He's not chasing Jim Harbaugh. He's not chasing Kirby Smart. He's not chasing Dan Lanning. He's
chasing Woody Hayes. He's chasing Jim Tressel. He's chasing Urban Meyer, and he's chasing Nick Saban.
That's got to be a really freeing thing because guess what? When he's chasing all those guys, guess who Kirby Smart's chasing? Whether he wants to admit it or not, he's chasing Ryan because Ryan's got it moving correctly, and there's no fraudulent tendencies. Who's Dan Lanning chasing?
Ryan Day. Kurt Signetti.
Who's Sark chasing?
Ryan Day.
The 2 guys that are chasing ghosts feel like Sig and Ryan. And to me, the Big Ten is entering a sphere. Here we go. I feel like a kid again because I feel like in the Big Ten, I am watching the closest. Like this is what I imagine. I'm not trying to throw shade at you, but I'm going to throw shade at you. How I'm feeling now is how I imagine you felt watching Urban and Saban in their primes go at it.
Yeah.
Or right before they started going at it. Because we're about to get kind of chapter 2 of the clash, right?
Well, until I need to see Signetti beat Ryan.
Yeah, I'm saying so early on, we needed to see Urban Meyer get there.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. But you mentioned something about the running game. Do you think they should just go to 2 running backs?
I'm going to give my opinion, and I'm really curious yours. Tyler, I think they accidentally had a running back 1 conversation, and then both running back 1s got leaped. So I think they're right now having a competition for running back 2. And I think once they figure out who's won that competition, they will pick one, and it'll be a 2 running back system. That is my belief. I don't know where you're at with this.
This is going to be really bad. But is there really a difference between the 2 of them?
I think that James Peoples,
Just pick one.
I think James Peoples has bad vision, but when it's blocked correctly, is more dangerous than CJ. I think CJ falls forward, catches the ball a little bit better, and is a little bit harder to bring down. So I think you're fighting. You're doing it's the classic floor versus ceiling. I think, and my belief is raise the floor because your ceiling that's higher than everybody in the whole room is Bo Jackson. So you don't need a second home run hitter. Is my personal
Correct.
belief.
I agree. I think they need to go to 2. I think it's, and I don't know if it has to be now. I'm not saying I need to see it this week, but I think maybe after the Penn State, maybe even the Penn State game, but definitely maybe a week after the Penn State game, I would go to 2 and like start giving Bo, 15, 18 carries.
Yeah.
So he knows what that feels like. Because
How many carries did Bo Jackson have last week? Out of curiosity,
um
because I felt like he got maybe honestly, if I had to guess, I would say
I think
30.
the highest I remember him having is 13, but I could be wrong.
That's what and also he was a little bit gimpy last week too.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to happen now, but I do think that eventually I'm gonna want to see them.
And here I think that if Bo Jackson's a little bit beat up, that they want to play 3 just for
So
now.
last week Bo had 10,
10 for 47.
CJ had 13.
The run game's just not there. It's wild that this feels like a run first football team, but we don't really run the ball that well.
Yeah,
But I think right guard is a huge issue though.
the Minnesota game, Bo had 13 carries. So, and the thing about it too is, if you remember last year, they were running it better than they are right now. But when they got to the Penn State game and Donovan Jackson said we had to drop our nuts, that was the moment that the running game took to another, even 2 levels up. And it's going to happen. I believe that the offensive line, they're going to have a moment, they're going to have a game where they're going to have to put together a drive and run an 8-minute drive, and that's the moment where it's going to click, and then they're going to take off. Because as soon as this offense can run the ball like they want to run the ball, then nobody will beat them. It'll be impossible to beat them.
Well, I'm sure like nationally, that's what everybody like. It's like we're good now because they don't really run the ball that well. But when they do, it's going to be like the oh shit moment. Like, what have we done? Like when Steph Curry figured out that he could just shoot threes and destroy the league. Like that's what the Ohio State run game is.
Yeah. So it's just like at some point, I think somewhere 2 to 3 weeks before Michigan, I would like to see them go to 2 running backs exclusively. And like let's roll to 2. Give Bo 15 to 18 carries a game, and let's get ready to go for the stretch run. So, but I also, I wanted to talk about Wisconsin because I think Wisconsin is a program that the Big Ten has relied upon for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering, one, is it a program of the past? Because it feels like an old, broke program, like a poor program. And the other thing is, does it feel that way because Luke kind of – I think Luke should get another year. I was thinking about this today. I think Luke Fickell should get another year because he essentially got to Wisconsin and hired Phil Longo. And they wanted to do the air raid thing. Like he wanted to bring offense to Wisconsin. And then he realized, like, this is never going to work. Never going to work here. My recruiting base doesn't allow it to happen. It's too hard to get, like, it's just too hard of a tradition to break. So it's almost like he had to start all over again.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like he's starting from scratch again. He brought in a running game guy, our offensive line as his coordinator to get back to the old Wisconsin ways. Like it's almost as if he's starting all over again. And like, should he get another chance?
I like Luke. That kind of gross miscalculation at a P5 job, a job that is a decent job, should cost you your job, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He made the decision, and he went into that team at Wisconsin. And you know what I believe, Tyler? I believe that he, in his head, was still trying out for the Ohio State job. And he saw what Ryan Day had done at Ohio State in terms of offense and saw what Phil Longo had done at North Carolina with Drake May and thought, if I want to make myself an attractive candidate, I need to show that I can do more than just trestle ball. And he went and brought a coordinator that doesn't align with the recruiting base.
Correct.
He should lose his job for that. The best thing for him would probably be to lose his job for that, because right now he'll be chasing against the clock, and there's no way to build a program back when you feel like you have to overhaul with quick fixes. What should happen is that he should hope that Matt Campbell gets the Penn State job. And if he does get fired, he should interview with Iowa State, own up that he made a mistake, but show that he's willing to go back to what made him successful the first time. Hard-nosed defense, program-based, family program, and I'm going to be good in the trenches. I think the best thing for him is to not be at Wisconsin next year, because he's always going to be chasing against a clock, because he made the mistake of trying to chase Ryan Day and chase what Ohio State might look for in their next coach instead of using the pillars that made him great at Cincinnati.
Yeah, that's fair. I just don't know if, like, do they have $25 million to pay him to go away? I don't know. I don't know what Wisconsin's like financial situation is. I have no idea.
I think that Luke Fickell, because of who he is, this might be a situation where they negotiate the buyout down at the end of the year. That would not surprise me at all.
It does look like Luke doesn't. He's kind of checked out.
He's been shell shocked. When you bet your future, like, here we go. He was trying to put together a job for his dream job, one that he already lost once unfairly, or that he may feel that he already lost once because he was the last coach before Ryan to lose to Michigan. And he, I think, felt the pressure to modernize, and he made a mistake. I think that stings him.
I do know this about Luke Fickell. It's not a secret. He is a Midwest person, and his wife is a Midwest person. She is an Ohio girl, and she didn't really want to leave Cincinnati. I remember that being reported, that she didn't even want to leave Cincinnati.
Bingo.
She didn't want to go to Wisconsin, and he was like, "We're going." I just wonder, like, I think it might be good for Luke to, like, not go be a head coach and go be a defensive coordinator and go somewhere just for like a year and go somewhere and just like reset. Because this has been an epic failure. Big failure.
You know why I worry about that? Because if he goes somewhere and is a great DC, that's it.
Somebody will give him another opportunity.
I think that would be it. I think it'd be like, look, we saw Luke fail, stick him back to defense, and maybe he'll get a shot down the road, but I don't think he could be just 1 year as a DC.
Well, the other thing, too, is like if Cincinnati keeps winning, the Cincinnati coach might be, looking
go somewhere else, then
go
return
somewhere
back
else.
home.
Yeah.
That could be it. I mean, we saw Scott Frost. He returned back home. Took him a little while.
So I just, I feel I want Luke to have success as a Ohio State guy. But I just, it's just a tough draw. Like, I think he made a big miscalculation, and it was a swing and a miss. It was a big one. So, but give me your bold prediction for the game.
I think that we will get I think we're going to get a Jaden Ballard touchdown.
Oh,
I think we're getting, I don't know, it might be the fourth quarter, but I think we're getting a Bally Tud.
Okay. I think Bo Jackson breaks off a 50-yard touchdown run.
That'd be awesome.
I think we see a long touchdown run from Bo Jackson.
I'm in.
So, and it's kind of bold. It shouldn't be that bold, but it kind of has been. So.
I mean, he had 47 rushing yards last week. That's bold.
So yeah. But hey, I want to play a game with you, Chris.
Let's go.
Contender or pretender? Playoffs. Can these teams, are they pretenders for the playoffs, or are they pretenders? And I'm going to give you, each time I give you a team, I'm going to tell you their remaining schedule. You ready? Ole Miss. They play at Georgia, at Oklahoma, South Carolina, the Citadel for the annual SEC bullshit, Florida, and then at Mississippi State. Contender or pretender?
They're undefeated now.
They are undefeated now.
The only game that I would pick them to lose would be Georgia. The coin flip games where I could see Lane Kiffin being Lane Kiffin is that Florida game. I think they should beat everybody else. So they're very worst. I think they're 10-2. That's a playoff team. And I think they're a good enough team to win a game in the playoffs. But if I had to predict, I would have them as 11-1 and a contender. What about you?
I think they're a contender. I think this game, if they win Saturday at Georgia, you will see Lane Kiffin in the SEC title game.
Ooh, okay.
All right. Next one. Alabama, currently sitting at 5-1. They host Tennessee. Then they go to South Carolina. They have LSU at home, Oklahoma at home, Eastern Illinois for, yet again, the annual SEC bullshit. And then they have the Iron Bowl. Contender or pretender?
Contender.
Yeah, I think so.
Contender. I mean, they're really good. I mean, I'm a believer. I'm a believer, and I think that that's one of the great coaching jobs of the year.
I do. It is worth noting, though, that stretch run is not easy.
No, not easy at all.
And if in that Florida State loss, if they lose one in the next 2 weeks, then there's pressure on them to not lose again, right?
This is where I think the 12-team playoff is important. I don't know if we'll see a time where the best quarterback in the sport misses the playoff. And I believe today that Ty Simpson is the best quarterback in the sport. I say that, but Cam Ward missed the playoffs last year, so never mind.
It's true. All right. Next team, Georgia. They host Ole Miss. Then they have Florida, at Mississippi State, Texas, Charlotte, and then at Georgia Tech. Contender or pretender?
I think they lose 2, at least. And I don't know which 2. But
well,
the candidate.
If you're saying that Georgia loses 2 more games coming home,
I know
that is a 9-3 football team, that will be considered a pretender because they will miss the playoff.
Yeah. Obviously like the losables are Texas, Ole Miss, Georgia Tech. I think Georgia Tech is a fantastic football team right now. I don't know if they'll be healthy enough at the end of the year to beat Georgia, but they gave Georgia a great game last year, and that Georgia Tech team was much worse last year. I don't think Georgia's very good. I think the SEC refs have saved them a little bit. I think they're a little bit of a glass cannon, and they hide behind Kirby's bad haircut. So I think they are a pretender.
I'm going to say contender because while I do think they lose one more, both of their losable games, SEC games, are both at home.
Okay.
I don't think they lose to Ole Miss and Texas at home.
Okay.
And then it all comes down to the Georgia Tech game, and that game comes down to health.
And that's a weird game.
Yeah. But now this is your list. So you're right now we got 2 contenders and a pretender.
Okay.
All right, next one. LSU. They have Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, at Alabama, Arkansas, Western Kentucky, and at Oklahoma.
They might lose every game till they get to
that
whatever.
Is what we call a pretender, folks.
That's a super pretender, dude. That's me trying out for Kate Olsen in a movie. That's fake.
Yeah, I think
get the diamond tester out. That's fake.
Yeah. We'll talk about LSU a little bit coming up here shortly. All right, next one. Tennessee. They have at Oklahoma, Kentucky, at Alabama, Kentucky, Oklahoma, New Mexico State, Florida, and Vanderbilt.
See, I think they're a good football team, dog. But if they get to 3 losses, are they out?
They're out.
Where are you at with them? Because I think they're good enough to be a contender, but for some reason I feel like they're going to run out of gas.
Well, the thing is they played 2 games of their 3 losable games they have coming up. And I think Billy Napier is getting fired in the next 2 weeks. I think they're going to be, down bad. I think they lose to Oklahoma or Vanderbilt, even though they're both at home. And I think they lose to Alabama. So I would also say they're going to have 3 losses.
So, yeah, I like them, and I think they're probably contender talent-wise. but I don't think they're contender. Like, I don't think they're going to finish the year with under 3 losses. And I think that's the concern.
Correct. All right. Next one. Notre Dame. They have 2 losses already. They have USC at Boston College, Navy at Pitt, Syracuse, and Stanford. This week is a playoff game for them.
Mm-hmm.
Contender or pretender, Chris?
Contender. I think they have the second best quarterback in the sport, and I think the committee is going to reward a team that runs the table. And honestly, I would not be surprised if they finish as a top 8 team to top 6 team, because that's how good they are. And the thing about them is that, like, the thing that's been a weak point has been their defense. And I'm a believer that Chris Ash is going to get their defense all the way right, and their offense is explosive. So I am in on Notre Dame this year.
I think they also make the playoff. I don't think they host a home playoff game, though. I think they're going on the road.
Yeah.
So
Which they should. You lose your first 2. You should go on the road. You lose your first 2.
Next one, Oklahoma at South Carolina, Ole Miss at Tennessee, at Alabama, Missouri, and LSU.
Pretender. They're going to lose. They're just going to lose one. They're going to lose one. And, like, this would have been a very difficult conversation for me to have if John Mateer doesn't play last week and they lose.
Well, here's the thing. It's like they only have lost 1 game. So if they win 5 of those 6 games, if they win 5 of those 6 games, I think at 10-2, they're in. So do you think they lose 1 of those 6 or 2 of them?
And then they lose 2 of them. I'm, and also, like, the way they got beat down last week makes me really wonder.
Yeah.
Because that stretch, dude, that's a really hard stretch. Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama.
Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU.
Yeah, that's a crazy stretch, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. All right. Missouri. We have Auburn, Vanderbilt, Texas A&M, Mississippi State, Oklahoma, Arkansas.
See, they're weird.
This was the one that I was interested to see what you were going to say.
They're weird because I think they only lose 1 more. Now, I think they're a little bit of a paper tiger, pun intended. I think if they win next week, they're in, and I think I might pick them to win next week at Vandy.
Well, they have to go to Auburn this Saturday.
Okay, Auburn doesn't concern me the way that I think they concern some people.
Okay.
I think Auburn is probably emotionally spent after all the close games they've had against really good football teams and lost. We've seen Auburn have close games against some good football teams, and they've come out on the wrong side every single time. I mean, think about how demoralizing of a stretch this is, Tyler. 24-17 to Oklahoma. That's a 1-score game.
Yep.
16-10 to Texas A&M.
Yep.
And then 20-10 against Georgia in a game where they led the half. Like, I feel like those are 3 emotional blows. You go through those 3 games and you can't win any of those close ones. I'm not inclined to pick you in a close game.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough. Well, of the 3 ranked matchups they're going to have, 2 of them are on the road at Vanderbilt. They get Texas A&M at home, who I think is a lock for the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
I think they're legit. And then at Oklahoma.
See, I think A&M is their only other loss.
I do wonder what the Vanderbilt game looks like if Vanderbilt beats LSU. Like, if Vanderbilt beats LSU, that momentum, hosting Missouri, that's a game where I could see. But, make a pick, Chris. Contender or pretender?
I'm going contender on Missouri, right?
All right.
I think that this Vandy game is going to – the Vandy LSU game this week is going to solve a lot of the SEC stuff too, though. I'm also really impressed with how close Missouri was against Bama. I think Bama is legitimately a top 5 team in the country, and, like, in terms of, like, what they can do. And, like, that being a 1-score game and, like, you're Bo Perillo, you've got the ball with a chance to go win the game or tie the game if you get a field goal. Like, to me, that's a really impressive game from Missouri.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Vanderbilt, they're next. LSU, Missouri, at Texas, Auburn, Kentucky, at Tennessee.
I think they lose to Missouri and Texas. And because I think they lose to Missouri and Texas, I think that makes them a pretender
That is correct.
at 3 losses.
Correct. So far, we have 4 contenders and 5 pretenders with 3 more to go.
Okay.
Next one, we'll go with Texas.
Okay.
Texas has they have Kentucky, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, at Georgia, Arkansas, Texas A&M. And they have 2 losses already.
I think they are the most dangerous pretender in college football.
I agree. I just don't know where you go.
It's too daunting to predict them to go undefeated. But part of the reason why I have like Vandy as a pretender and Georgia as a pretender is because I think that Texas could clip one of those 2.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like I think Texas has a legit case of being the first 3-loss team in the 12-team playoff. But that's a separate conversation.
Agreed. All right. Moving out of the SEC, I know that was painful for you.
Yeah, a lot of SEC talk. Damn. They're all pretenders. Put them all in the pretenders.
USC at Notre Dame, at Nebraska, Northwestern, Iowa, at Oregon, UCLA.
I told you on Monday I was flirting with the idea of picking USC to beat Oregon at the end of the year. I have since come back to my senses. I like USC. I love USC. I think I feel the same way about USC as I feel about Texas. I think they are a very dangerous pretender because I think they lose 3 on the year.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Last one, and this is an interesting one. Nebraska.
Yeah.
Ooh. At Minnesota,
okay.
Northwestern, USC, at UCLA, at Penn State, and Iowa at home. Very, very favorable schedule.
Yeah, they're a contender. Excuse me, not a pretender. They're a contender. They'll be 10-2.
They might be 11-1 if they can beat USC and they get that game at home. That'll be at home.
A lot of travel.
I think there's a chance that they could be 11-1. 11-1 Nebraska absolutely gets in.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think 10-2 Nebraska gets in.
Probably, but there's a chance that they don't. But 11-1 guarantees them in. And if you're the Big Ten, assuming that if USC loses to Notre Dame and you're the Big Ten, you want Nebraska to beat USC. Because now we're talking about 4 teams getting in from the Big Ten.
Yeah.
This is what you want. So that was a fun exercise. Took a little longer than I thought it would, but
I enjoy it. Do you want to go through some picks, big dog?
Yeah. A couple things here. Let's start LSU at Vandy. Vandy's a 2.5-point favorite at home. Has James Franklin's firing sped up Brian Kelly's clock at LSU?
My belief, and I talked about this with Zach, I think that all of the flavors of James Franklin should be like eyebrows raised, feeling anxiety. And by flavors of James Franklin, I'm talking about you, Brian Kelly. Like, I'm talking about you, Sherrone Moore.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about a lot of guys that because the new premium now is going to be based on teams that win the big game. Because I can accidentally walk into a playoff, but can I win the big game? And that's kind of where I was wrong with James Franklin. But to answer the question without being too long-winded, I think it does. I think it absolutely does. Now, I don't think Brian Kelly will get fired this year, but I think now all of a sudden you look ahead to next year and the year after, and there is a red button on a booster's desk at LSU. And when you push that red button, you know who falls through the floor? Brian Kelly. So, yeah, is the answer. Yes, it should, and it does, because we're in a new era of college football. And I think the person, you know what, I'll wait. Go ahead. I'm ready for the next.
No.
Wait, what's your pick?
Well, I did want to ask another question. Has Garrett Nussmeier been the most disappointing draft-eligible quarterback this year?
Maybe to you, but not to me.
Okay. Yeah, you did say that. You were never really a believer.
I've seen this shit coming from a mile away, big dog.
Yeah. I just saw the size. I saw the arm. I was like,
Hey, big
he looks like he can throw the ball in the snow.
He can throw that thing out of the dome. He can. But the issue is it's 3rd and 3, Garrett. We need a slant, not the ball out of the dome.
True. This was one of the hard of all the games I had to pick. This one was the toughest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Brian Kelly knows that he has his back up against the wall, and we're going to see a very desperate LSU team. I have LSU winning 23-21, but I don't feel good about it.
Yeah, this is the big mystery box game of the week. I thought last week that the most interesting game was Michigan versus USC. I think LSU Vandy is the most interesting game of this week.
Yeah. I just feel like the defense of LSU, which if you would have told us that LSU's defense would be better than their offense this year, we would have been like, you're lying.
Mm-hmm.
And they are. Their defense is a good defense. And we know that LSU is always going to have freaks on their roster. And I just feel like if they're desperate enough, which I think they should be, then, they'll play. This is still Vandy punching up a level.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if Vandy's quite there yet.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm taking LSU. Give me the plus. I think they win straight up, and I'll, give the 2.5 as well.
Bingo. Well, I'll roll with you on that one.
All right. Ole Miss at Georgia. Georgia is a 7.5 point favorite. What a terrible number.
Yeah. I don't think they cover.
No.
I'm taking Ole Miss with the points, dude.
Lane Kiffin is like fun James Franklin. He's like the entertaining version of it.
Yeah, where you go with this?
Do you think he can level up or no? Or is he always as Lane Kiffin who he is?
Well, we forgot what Lane did last year.
Yeah. He was basically the same team, but like he screwed up against
Yeah, but last year, what did he do against Georgia?
He beat them.
He beat them in kind of pretty dominant fashion.
Yeah.
That D line gets active. And like I don't know if I want to pick Ole Miss to win the game, but I definitely think that'll be a close game.
I'm just like, but do you think he can level up and like make an SEC title game?
You know why I don't consider him Fun Franklin? Because his issues don't align with Franklin's issues. His issues align with being overly aggressive and like overly cute. James Franklin is just tight. It's like one gets the most out of his players. And here we go. What does Lane Kiffin have to deal with year over year over year? His assistants getting poached. Penn State gave James Franklin the resources to name his 2 assistants.
Yeah.
So I think he's closer to Lincoln Riley. Lane Kiffin.
Fair enough. That's fine. I got Georgia 27, Ole Miss 23. So Ole Miss covers the 7.5, but Georgia wins 27-23. It just feels like I just don't know. I still believe that Georgia has a legit home field advantage. And I also believe until I'm really proven otherwise, and I'm getting close to getting there.
Mm-hmm.
But until like Kirby loses a game where he like has his back up against the wall in the SEC, I got to see it first. Somebody's going to do it to him first.
Yeah.
And I just think that he's going to find a way to get his guys thirsty. And like, we know what that looks like. When Georgia or Kirby Smart Georgia's team is hungry and angry, we know what it looks like. And until somebody goes and does it to him in the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I also think asking Georgia to beat anybody by more than a touchdown is like playing with fire.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It's like asking your kid to cut your hair. Will it get cut? Yeah. How's it gonna look? We don't know.
No idea. Next one, Tennessee at Bama. Bama is an 8.5 point favorite.
I hate this line.
8.5 is even worse of a number.
Easily the worst line ever.
You said that Bama is a top 5 team, so that basically says they're a national title contender. Is this Ty Simpson's first real Heisman moment?
It is, man. This is it. This is the first Heisman moment. It's a rivalry game. It's going to be a night game. It's going to be all the rate. Yeah, this is it. In fact, honestly, more than that, I think he might have just to lock up the Heisman, because what he's going to have is he's going to have the more recent Heisman moment at night than Mendoza, who I believe is second on most of the things for Heisman.
Well, I think he's definitely gonna have his moment, because I have Bama winning 42-39. I think it's gonna be a shootout. I think it's gonna be points galore. The ball's gonna be flying all over the yard. It's gonna be an awesome game to watch.
7:30 ABC, and I think Tennessee's gonna open it up enough and push the ball down the field enough that we're going to see it have to be a shootout. Did you know that Aguilar actually has more passing yards this year than Ty?
Yes, that does not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Just based on the way that Tennessee plays football.
And would it surprise you if it was on less attempts?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that would surprise me.
They throw the ball down the field. There is no hide.
Yeah.
There's no checkdowns. There's no intermediate short game. It is bombs.
Yeah.
So I'm going to skip one because I think that game is going to have a little bit more conversation to it. USC at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a 9.5-point favorite. 9.5? Seems like a lot of points, man.
Yeah, and USC's feeling really good. I think that USC covers.
How would this game, if USC wins this game,
changes the perception?
How do you think it affects Notre Dame?
They're officially out.
Coming on, well, not even that. I'm talking about just like perception. Like you just made it to the national title, and then the next year you miss the playoffs.
I think your perception gets saved because of what Penn State's going through.
So nobody's going to talk about you?
No one's going to notice.
That house over there is burning.
Yeah.
You have no running water, but it's still standing. They got their house is burning.
Yeah. Look, yeah, your house got robbed, but their house is on fire and there's people outside firing like machine guns into it.
Yeah. How would this change Lincoln Riley's narrative with a win? Would it change Lincoln Riley's the narrative about Lincoln Riley?
Absolutely. You win a big game, you beat two tough football teams. Your defense looks the part. Your run game is really good. Absolutely. Like Lincoln Riley didn't really get afforded the opportunity to learn on the job. I still think he's a coordinator cosplaying as a head coach, but he's got a chance to move himself into what Lane Kiffin is if they win this game.
Yeah. We'll see. I got Notre Dame 38, USC 31.
Oh, close.
USC covers the 9.5, but Notre Dame wins by a touch. I think CJ Carr is really good.
Yeah.
And I still think Marcus Freeman's a good football coach. I saw some reports that Penn State's going to go after Marcus Freeman. That would be a step down for Marcus Freeman. That's no shot he takes that job.
Yeah, it's funny because I think there is a level of delusion right now with what Penn State thinks they are. So where they're going to find, we're going to find out. Honestly, if a big name coach like Marcus Freeman goes for that job, that means that Adidas is on their film night with them, and that's just an important note to remember.
Yeah,
but I also don't think it's happening.
Yeah. All right, this game is going to create a little more conversation.
Yeah,
because this one is very close to home. Washington at Michigan. Michigan is a 5.5-point favorite. Do you think Sherrone? I got Shedeur Sanders on my brain. Sherrone is actually on the hot seat.
I think that every coach in America should have a vested interest in this game, because if Michigan decides to put him on the hot seat, it changes every job in America moving forward. I think that if they lose this game in a non-competitive fashion, you open up the door to get fired in the next 3 weeks. Because my belief on Sherrone Moore is that he was named the head coach just in case they needed a fall guy. They didn't end up needing a fall guy. And Michigan is too good of a job for someone who was not a world-renowned elite coordinator to get promoted. Additionally, I hear the Ryan Day argument. Well, Ryan Day took over. Ryan Day took over to keep the entire staff in alignment, to keep the program aligned. Everybody that was worth something at Michigan ended up going to the NFL. The last man left behind that was just dropped off to die on the sword, and you sent Sherrone Moore back, and it's like, God, why do you keep sending me your toughest battles? God, NCAA is like, well, how are you still alive? So I think it will heat the seat if they lose this game, and I think it's going to really irritate and scare some coaches.
Yeah, I think if Washington beats, I think Sherrone Moore makes it through the end of the season. I don't think he gets fired during the season. I do think that if he loses to Washington, it's the only thing that could save his job is beating Ohio State again. That's the only thing that can save his job if he loses to Washington.
And can I push back?
Sure.
if he loses to Washington in a non-competitive game, he doesn't get the chance to get to Ohio State.
I just don't know if he. I don't know if they can. I don't know if they're gonna. I think they.
Washington is 100% capable of making this a non-competitive football game. I'm picking them straight up. And it's not that like they should, but what I watched USC Michigan wise was way more disgusting than I ever would have guessed. And also Justice Haynes it's not healthy. The other part of this, Tyler, is Michigan is naturally going to have a lot of overlap in their coaching search with Penn State.
They're the same job. I think they're the exact same place. I think they're the same school. I think they're the same type of job. I think they're the exact same.
So if I'm Michigan and I get blown out this week and I want Matt Campbell, how long am I going to wait?
That's true. That's true. I just want my own, like, you could be, I'm like 49% on your side and 51% on my side, because I just wonder how much does last year's Ohio State game carry weight for Sherrone Moore? How much, like, are they going to give him the opportunity to play that game?
I don't think they will. And you know what the other part of it is? What happened when Sherrone Moore wasn't there?
They scored a lot of damn points. I know it was against Central Michigan, but like they scored a lot of points.
Well, who was the other game against? Nebraska. Their best win was Sherrone Mooreless, and they played better in that game. Bryce Underwood has.
I was going to say, how does losing to Washington affect Bryce Underwood?
Oh, it absolutely affects him. Bryce Underwood has 174 rushing yards with Biff Poggi as the coach. He's got 2 with Sherrone Moore as the coach.
Is Chris Drew more nervous for the Ohio State Michigan game if Sherrone Moore is not the coach?
Yes.
Woo, boy.
You can tell I've given that take a ton of thought throughout the day, just so you know.
I have Washington winning 33-24. 33-24.
Okay.
My other follow question to this game is, can Washington, Indiana replace Penn State and Michigan in the long-term hierarchy of the Big Ten?
Can who?
Washington, Indiana replace Penn State and Michigan.
I think it's more likely it's USC over Washington.
Yeah, but like I feel like USC is a power in of its own.
Okay, that's fair. If you already consider them a power, then yes, I think Washington and maybe here we go, Indiana and either Nebraska or Washington.
I really think that I already said that if Penn State screws up this hire, they could go into a bad place. Bad place. Michigan, I feel like what's a bad? I mean, how bad can it, like Brady Hoke bad?
I mean, Brady Hoke won 10 games a couple times. People don't want to talk about that.
Rich Rod was bad. The Rich Rod experience was the worst.
Here's the thing about Rich Rod. He was just ahead of his time because it would have worked. You know what Rich Rod is? Rich Rod is Phil Longo at Wisconsin.
Yeah. I just don't think Michigan.
Tyler, I think that was fucking good.
Yeah. I as much as I hate Michigan, I still respect them, and like I just don't know how down they can stay for long. You know?
Yeah.
Like they're always going to be like they're a 10-2 football program. That's who they are. And on a bad year, they're like 7-5, 8-4. But it's not like that it's not going to stay like that for, half a decade.
Well, if they keep Sherrone.
That's true. But, man, that is a fascinating watch.
No, really fascinating. That's the more fascinating game in terms of administration-wise. The more fascinating game in terms of like landscape SEC-wise is LSU Vandy. I'm excited though. It's a good weekend. I believe neither of us have hear me out, so maybe we'll do.
Chris, we agreed on every single pick,
and we took turns going first.
Yeah, we agreed on.
Are we?
No. Did you pick Vandy or did you pick LSU?
No, I picked Vandy. No, I picked LSU.
You picked LSU?
I don't think Vandy has the athletes.
Yeah, I picked LSU.
You know what? I will pick Vandy just to differ from you. So one of us wins this week.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough.
We
It's
have
going to
to
be a
hear me
great
out.
week of college football. Chris will probably be flying solo on the reaction.
Yep.
Unless yeah, probably. So
I mean, I'll fly solo. I honestly like. I love you, but I can do this. I can do
I
this.
know. People love when you fly solo more than when you're with me anyway, so it's fine.
No, they don't, dude. Don't do that. People are Tyler McCormick fans now.
We'll
But,
see. Especially since I took my Claritin, you know.
Yeah, dude, you're doing a great job. Tyler's doing a great job. So give Tyler some love, man. Y'all don't give him enough love. I'm Chris. That's Tyler.
Peace.
What a great fuck. Hey, this is a crazy exclusive right now.
Don King Jr. in the flesh, boy.
Dude, my hair looks insane, bro. Why is it so long?
Get a pick. You won't.
I don't have one in the house anymore, bro. I tossed them all out. I thought it was over. Thought he was.
I retired them shits, bro.
Thought he was going bald. I couldn't look at him. It was pissing me off. But Tyler said that his head looks too big sometimes, so I'm trying to like match head size.
Tell me, do I have a massive noggin?
A massive schnoggin.
Dude, I got a big ass head.
Do I need my hair to pop? Wow, my hair shrunk. Look at that. Pat got me coffee today, and it's like hitting my system in waves. All right, dude, let's go.
Well,
Here we go.
You gotta
Has this changed the way you watch other people's podcasts?
No, because I still listen to the same ones. I still listen to Josh Pate. I still listen to Joel Klatt. I don't really like Joel Klatt, but I listen to Joel Klatt just because I want to like use the ideas to bounce my own off of.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's like a good thing to like hear where other people are coming from. Okay, do you, when you hear somebody new, do you think, wow, they're very good, or do you like grade Joel Klatt's performances? Because like when I started podcasting a lot, I like started like really listening and evaluating guys like they're fucking players instead of like their podcast hosts.
No, I guess I need to start listening to more people because, like I said, I literally listen to like Joel Klatt. I listen to Josh Pate. I listen to one golf podcast, and then I listen to Brilliantly Dumb, which is Robbie Berger, who does Bob Does Sports.
Okay.
And like that's more like a humor thing, not a
Okay. Have you hit a point in podcasting where you can identify why, like the exact why as to why you like Pate more than you like Klatt?
I think he's better on a microphone.
I'm saying like that's easy, but like what does that mean?
His cadence, he's never rushed. He doesn't feel rushed ever.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Pate doesn't eat like it's always on his own pace, and he like I like his bits. I guess you could say his shtick.
Yeah,
you know the things that he says, the chalice of whatever supremacy, or you know the quirky things that he kind of seamlessly
transitions to.
Not even it's just like they seamlessly add them into, like they fit the context of what he's saying.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know what my I don't know if I have one yet. Obviously,
like a style or like a
style.
You'll grow into it, dog. Like it took me a while to kind of like find my style. I do think though, Tyler, I always joke about this. I do think by the time I'm 30, I'll be better than just about everybody on a microphone. The guy who I think is the very best on a microphone is Doug.
Yeah, his cadence is really good too.
And like,
I just like people that sound comfortable. I also find it really impressive that they do it by themselves.
Oh, like solo dolos?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Which I could do. I could do solo dolo.
Oh, fuck. Contender Pretender will go before the other. Contender Pretender will go after the Ohio State breakdown and before the other games.